The Boys and Invincible are two of the most popular shows out right now. Both of them have been compared due to their similarities. In this video, I'm going to try to explore what makes both of them great and what makes both of them unique in their respective ways. They both have been engraved in modern popular culture, like Anthony Starr's Homelander appearing in numerous memes with his iconic expressive face.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Or back in 2021 when the first season of Invincible came out with the Think Mark Think.
You die! Think, Mark, think! You'll outlast every fragile, insignificant being on this planet!
Invincible feels more of a classic superhero story. Mark feels like a Superman version of Peter Parker. You have the cliche teenager trying to balance superhero life with school and relationships, while The Boys isn't really interested in a cliche superhero story arc, because most of the characters in that show have selfish goals. For example, Butcher isn't your typical hero, he's more of an anti-hero, and the superhero world is very different. The Boys also doesn't have a main character like Mark who we follow the entire show, because we have more of an ensemble. In the first season, Huey and Starlight are sort of presented as our two main characters. Huey joins Butcher in this quest to avenge his girlfriend Robin, and Starlight is similar to Mark in the cliche good superhero trying to do good. But unfortunately, as the show progresses, both of them lose much of their protagonism to make room for other characters such as fan favorite Homelander. Despite both superhero worlds from these shows being very different, both of them present very flawed superhero beings that act in self-interest and don't go in the typical MCU world routes. Just like Mark fits the stereotypical superhero, the world of Invincible seems more similar with that of what we know in other superhero media, such as in the MCU or the late DCEU, where we have a clear good guy and bad guy scenario, which can seem a little black and white, but as Invincible progresses, there is more grayness to it, like having Mark be evil in most other universes, or Omniman having a redemption arc despite being the show's clear antagonist of the first season. But the world itself follows a superhero villain world, where we have a clear individual like Doc Seismic wanting to kill innocent people and destroy the world just cuz, and we have our superhero trying to save the day. The Boys does something entirely different in their world building, which is something I find very interesting, where there is no clear supervillains. Yeah, Homelander is kind of our main antagonist in the show, but he is presented as a superhero in this world, having our protagonists be humans trying to take down the Supes. This creates a more unique superhero story in my opinion, having the Supes be selfish, narcissistic assholes who don't really save the world, because there is no clear threat that's out of this world, like having Thanos or Conquest or Omniman trying to take over the planet. Instead, we focus on the superheroes and how they take advantage of the powers they are given. There is only fake supervillains created for the media, like in the opening scene of The Boys pilot, where Homelander and Queen Maeve take down some thugs and save two children just so it can be presented in the TV. And then we cut to Huey just cleaning the TV, presenting us that all of this is just fake. It is just made for the media. This is very interesting to me because it not only gives a hypothetical of having superheroes in a universe that really doesn't need them, Homelander being the most obvious example, where he prefers to let a plane full of people die than actually trying to solve the problem and save them.
Stay back! All of you, stay back! You stay the fuck back or I'll laser you, goddammit! I'll laser every fucking one of you!
Or just intimidating any character in any scene he's in. All Supes abuse their power, A-Train showing no remorse for killing Robin in the pilot, the Deep taking advantage of women constantly throughout the show, like he does with Starlight in the pilot as well. Or just Supes expressing humans as inferior to them, sort of what Homelander refers to humans as cockroaches when he's with Ryan. Being the superhero powers in the Boys universe be a clear metaphor for our real world invisible power, Overall, I feel like The Boys does create a more fresher narrative where you just have some random dudes trying to kill gods, literal gods. It's like instead of having Spider-Man trying to fight Venom, it's more of Peter Parker without powers trying to fight Venom. Something Invincible exceeds at far better than The Boys, it's its action. Don't get me wrong, The Boys does have some really great set pieces of extreme gore, like when they just straight up kill the whale in season 2. But most of the action relies on gunfights, or one or two superheroes just fighting each other, that it only feels like it's just two strong humans fighting each other. While Invincible, we have literal gods fighting each other. No matter how strong we are made to believe Homelander is, we don't see him stroking people through buildings or chopping people's heads off. He only stays in a single location punching really hard. And I get why. If we had battles like in Infinity War with Thanos fighting most of the Avengers, of course it would cost millions of dollars in special effects, and The Boys isn't really necessarily focused on trying to make a big spectacle superhero story. It's trying to be more of a social commentary, satire. So Invincible, being an animated show, has pretty much no limit on what it can do. The battle set pieces are always large and exciting. We see characters fly and break through buildings and destroy everything in their path. The final battle between Conquest and Invincible may be one of the best action scenes put to superhero media ever. The build-up since season 2 of the Viltrumite coming to Earth and fighting Invincible created such great hype, and when it was finally presented in the season finale, we have a whole episode dedicated to this battle, and the stakes are so high. Mark barely beats Conquest by the help of both Oliver and Adam Eve. The entire show feels like the fight scenes come first, which is not necessarily a bad thing since it's very action focused. And I also enjoy that they don't really hold back on the blood. In fact, it really embraces the gore. Both The Boys and Invincible are known for their shock value, although I feel it's more justified in Invincible because the action set pieces feel more raw and the stakes feel higher. It embraces the gore so far that it has Conquest literally ripping apart a child. Gore and vulgarity are something common in both shows. We often have gore being expected in action scenes.
He does not ask for your company, not at the center of the world.
Something both shows excel at is presenting the evil Superman. Although both shows deal with it very different, they both have this concept of having, what if Superman was evil? Now, Superman is portrayed as the ideal superhero. He does everything for the greater good, always thinking about others, acting in selflessness, and thinking about his powers as something to be done for the greater good. Since Superman is the embodiment of a godlike powers given to someone in our society, it's expected that some media would try to portray an evil Superman and how difficult it would be to control or even kill him. Invincible presents an entire planet with evil supermen that pose as the show's main antagonists. They want to conquer every planet and make them part of the Viltrum Empire. Omniman is one of their most powerful and loyal servants. Having lived hundreds of years and conquered hundreds of planets, he is an ideal soldier, infiltrating Earth and presenting himself as a good Superman in a world full of superheroes, only to rebel and kill off the most powerful heroes on Earth, the Guardians of the Globe, and set out to complete his mission of conquering Earth. Omni-Man is shown to change in the show. In the second season, we see how even a pure evil individual responsible for millions of deaths and showing no remorse to any of them can actually change and feel bad for what he's done in the past. All of this is presented in a montage of Omni-Man flying through planets and staring into the void of space, questioning his entire purpose and existence. Of all he has ever been good at was destruction. He realizes in his search of purpose that he can become a symbol to protect those who are weaker, who he described earlier as inferior beings, that he could actually save people and protect a planet from evil. And it becomes clear that that's where the show is taking Omniman, that he has a redemption leading to him joining forces to end the Viltrum Empire in a way to try to make amends for all the horrific things he did for so many years. Despite being on Earth for a fraction of his life, living with Mark and Debbie changed something in him, made him seem like the violence and destruction was not right, even if he was programmed to believe that the inferior lives were not worth saving. On the other hand, Homelander, more than just an evil Superman, is more of a metaphor for a powerful people and how easily they can be corrupted when they discover that there is nothing standing in their way. J.K. Simmons provides an incredible voice acting for Omni-Man, but Anthony Starr really steals the show in The Boys, even as far as being the most recognizable character in the show, despite being the main antagonist. But since the character became so popular, the show clearly dedicated more screen time in the later seasons to him. Homelander acts as the main threat in the show. Anthony Starr dominates his scenes. His incredible charisma and well-written character makes him more sympathetic than your average villain. Sure, you don't really justify what he does, but you can understand that his background, being raised in a lab and not having any parental figures, might have scarred him and made him the monster that he is today. His expressive face, his little twitches, and the way he usually moves his arms demand the viewer's attention. And just like the character is in need of attention, the cinematographers of the show make him really stand out in every scene he's in. Of course, his very colorful suit makes him hard to miss, but Homelander constantly moves his hands and points at things. He's very loud, and he always is craving attention. And since he is the most powerful soup in this universe, every time we see him interact with another character, we genuinely feel fear for who he's trying to intimidate. And it's really interesting that the writers chose to end season 4 with him winning. Taking control of the country further enforces the show's themes of injustice, that sometimes the bad guys win and get away with their plans, and the good guys lose. This was hinted at the end of season 3, when we literally see him kill a man in the middle of a rally, showing that, like our real world, people support their idols even if they do terrible things right in front of them.
Yeah! Yeah!